Hi there, I'm Lily. I'm 19 years old, and I experienced something recently that I'm really spooked about. Any advice I'd appreciate so much. When I was about 3 to 4, I was given a jewelry box on some birthday or Christmas as one of my presents. Brand new, just a pretty white box with rose petals all over it. When you open it up, there's a little ballerina and a few drawers to store your jewelry. To play music, you wind up the back and lift up the lid and it will play. Now, I don't know much about haunted objects or etc. or what even to properly call what happened to me. So, I'm just going to be straight to the point for this. When I turned 10, my great Nana passed away. It was very sad, though oddly enough, I knew she died without anyone telling me. I remember seeing her the last time, right before Christmas, and my mom telling her that we will visit after the new year. I just remember feeling that I wouldn't, and this time would be the last time I saw her. A month goes by, and my birthday rolls around. I'm a February baby, with my B-day at the start of the month. A few days later one morning, I wake up, and I just knew my great Nana had died. As soon as I thought that, my mom calls me, "Come down, because something has happened to my great Nana. She died in her sleep at the age of 90. Now, this is what I want to talk about today. When I was in year 7, I think that's grade 8 for America, I was in the year group that has 12-year-olds. I was at my house in my room, which my best friend at the time were playing music and messing about. At some point, we got to talking about spirits and our dead nanas, etc. I was talking about my great Nana and being really emotional because I missed her. Right when this happened, across the room from me and my friend, my music box that was on my vanity cabinet started playing. I want to say again that for this music box to play, you have to wind it up in the back and lift the lid. It will not play unless you do that. I want to say again, it will not play unless you do that. I also want to say that the jewelry box had been broken for a couple of years, and although it didn't play music anymore, I still used it to hold jewelry, etc. Now, as any 12-year-old, I was spooked out. I remember crying over it and refusing to have that box in my room for a long time. My knowledge, I spent a lot of my life in my room. Always have. It had never played after that. It was in the attic at some point, so I don't know if it ever played up there. I don't know if it ever played while I was at home, while I was at school, college. I will never know because I was simply not around it 24/7. For the past 3-ish years, I brought it down from the attic and had it in my room. I'm 19 now, and it played again. Yesterday I was upset and angry at my family over something. I was hurt. I cried and felt really sad. I don't want to go into too much, but basically I wasn't at my best. I have my great Nana's things I'd inherit when she died. I keep a lot of it in my room, actually right next to my jewelry box. I even have her teddies and perfume she loved. Yesterday I looked over at them and started crying about how upset I am, ranting at her teddies about my family. Eventually I calmed down. Hours go past. I have my tea, called my boyfriend, went to sleep, all normal. I woke up this morning to my music box going off. When I tell you I have never been more spooked, I mean it. I can't even begin to tell you how freaked out I was. The music box woke me up. I couldn't ever remember the song the box played because it had been broken for so long. But after what happened last night, I can say the song was the Sugar Plum Fairy Nutcracker song. I was so spooked. The music box is across my room, as another box on top of it. It's impossible for it to randomly play like that. I can't get my head around it. Anyway, I screamed when I realized what was happening. My dog was fine with it, slept next to me and wasn't startled or anything, which is kind of weird because he is a pomchai, and if you know pomchies, they bark at anything, literally. I got my phone, looked at the time, it was 3:58 or 59. I got the box and ran downstairs to my parents. I didn't get much sleep last night. Every dream I had was of that box. Please, can anyone tell me what they think of this? Any ideas? I try to pass it off to coincidence, but I feel it wasn't. The box won't be in my room for a while. Thank you for reading if you are. I actually only got Reddit not so long ago because I enjoy reading the stories. Hopefully there's some explanation for this. This is a true story which haunts everyone in the family today. Back in 1997 summer, I had visited my aunt's place. Geographically, our house was situated beside a river embankment road, and there was a crematorium around 1.5 kilometers away. One night we all were in the country yard due to power cuts. We 5 kids were playing and no one was sleepy. We heard some kids crying on the road which was miles away from the main gate. Me and my aunt came out and there were 3 kids, brothers. The youngest one was crying. My aunt asked about their parents and it came out that they are from the neighborhood slum, and the youngest one was crying because he was hungry. I ran into the kitchen and brought a couple of rotis, Indian bread, along with a few pickles and mashed potatoes. My aunt asked me to give it to the elder one, and I followed her. Next morning my aunt inquired about the kids from the house help, who was from the same neighborhood slum. Our house help was shocked and revealed that out there, 2 of them were drowned in the river. Elder and younger brothers were dead 3 days ago, and their bodies were never found. Seven years ago, I rented a house in Dallas, Texas. There was a long hallway between all of the bedrooms. On the first week of my arrival, I kept seeing a flicker of a little girl running down the hallway. I'm used to seeing spirits, but she was shy and didn't let herself be seen for over a month. I'd hear her running behind me, would turn around and she was gone. I built trust with her over months and was able to learn her story. Her name was Jillian, and she was 6 years old at the time of her passing. One night, she showed me what happened to her. While in my bedroom, I could see it transform into a field. A man had raped and murdered her. He then buried her about 700 feet from where the house lot was located. She used to play in these fields. The area where the hallway felt safe to her. I asked if she wanted to cross over, but she wasn't ready yet. She visited almost weekly. She was playing devious, like most kids are. While I lived there, rings, keys, and knickknacks would go missing. We'd ask her to return them, and days or weeks later they would appear. Several of the guests that visited me or spent the night reported seeing her too. We would always hear her running down the hallway and could hear her giggle when she was playing. Though she was a haunting, Jillian was a friendly one. I still have no idea how to explain this, but I tell you exactly the way my mom told me multiple times before. When I was around 4 or 5, I had a babysitter that would stay home with me during the day while my mother was working. I always insisted on waiting for my mom in front of the building we lived in, which was located near a factory that sold recycled plastic. My nanny was always holding my hand pretty tightly to prevent me from running towards the street, since the factory was always getting trucks coming and going with supplies. That particular day, she got distracted talking to a neighbor, and apparently I saw my mom waiting to cross the street, and I decided to run towards her. As a truck was approaching, I let go of the nanny's hand and ran, and my mother said she closed her eyes and screamed because a truck was so close by that there was no way someone could save me. As she closed her eyes, she begged God and Saint, don't remember which one, to save me. And when she opened her eyes, I was standing next to her, confused AF as to why she wasn't crying and shaking. The truck driver got out screaming and looking for me under the truck. He was certain he had hit me. My mom asked me what happened, and I simply said, "A lady helped me cross the street," and I pointed to that said lady, but there was no one there. I still don't know how I feel about this. It wasn't my last experience with paranormal stuff. A lot has happened when I moved in with my grandma, who lived in a very old house. But it sounds so movie-like. A guardian angel? I don't know. The December before the pandemic, my husband and I attended a party on the Queen Mary and rented a room on the ship for the occasion. I was very excited, as I had never been on a ship like that before. I had also heard stories about one of the pools being haunted by the ghost of a little girl. After the party ended around 11 p.m., we changed our clothes into something more comfortable because I wanted to wander the ship and explore. They kicked everyone off the ship who wasn't staying the night there. We spent a couple hours wandering the amazing ship inside and out. Before we finished up, we went back down to the level the party had been on, only now it was completely empty, same level as the pool, by the way, which they had closed up, but you could still look through the windows, which I absolutely did. I spent a good 5 minutes with my face pressed up to those windows before we walked on. I didn't see anything. After walking down a short hallway, we were in an enormous empty ballroom, which had been so bustling just a few hours earlier. My husband picked up a broken drumstick left behind from one of the bands. Just then, from the direction of the pool came a loud child's laugh, coming towards us, as if a little kid was running our direction down the hallway laughing loudly. I immediately locked eyes with my husband. "It's just a kid," he said dismissively. But there's no kid. We're all alone on that entire floor. I look at my watch and it says 1:01 a.m. We go back to our room, seeing no one else along the way. Once in bed, I start Googling about Queen Mary ghost stuff. I found a forum that mentioned a common occurrence is hearing children's laughter around the pool area. When we discussed how we never saw any children that night, even during the party, which was for 21 and over, so why would we? We went to sleep feeling in awe and a tad eerie. I can still hear that laughter in my mind clear as day. This was a couple years back now, but I was driving to a small cottage in the countryside. Whilst driving through the countryside with my friends, one beside me and one in the left passenger seat, we decided to turn on the radio and listen to music. It was around 12:30 in the middle of the night. We're all minding our own business, one sleeping, friend in passenger seat, and my friend and I in the front. I was driving the speed limit, cruising, when my friend and I saw a small boy, I would say 10 to 11, all alone at this time of night. He was notably dressed in a shirt, black jeans, and had black hair. Keep in mind, we had our headlights on. We pulled over around maybe 50 feet from where the boy stood. My friend exited the car and started to walk back and towards the boy where he was last seen, but he was gone, almost like he vanished. A ghost, perhaps? My friend even checked to see if he was hiding or ran away, but no traces. Does anyone or has anyone experienced this phenomenon? It gives me the creeps.